who get sick. You may know some who will die. You could be one of them. Today, your task is to ground and be a solid presence on this patch of earth. Watch us and follow suit.
Can I follow that? Joseph Bruchach is a Native American elder and storyteller, and he tells this poem. He says, half on the earth and half in the heart. The remedies for all the things that grieve us wait for those who know the words to say, to find them. The Penobscot people used to have a medicine for cancer from mayapple. And people of South America knew the quinine cure for malaria 1,000 years ago. But it is not just in the roots, the stems, the leaves, or the 1,000 flowers that healing lies. Half of it lives within the words the healer speaks. And when the final time comes to leave this earth, there are no cures, for death is only a part of life, not a disease. Half on the earth, half in the heart. The remedies for all our pains wait for the songs of healing.
This is another one about words by local poet Ellery Akers. The word that is a prayer. One thing you know when you say it, all over the world, people are saying it with you. The child that blurts it out as the seizures take her. A woman lying on a cot in a hospital. What if you take a cab to the Tenderloin? At a stoplight, a man in a wool cap, yarn unraveling across his face, knocks on the window. He says, please. The light changes, the cab pulls away, and you don't go back. Though you know somebody has prayed to you just the way you pray. Please, a word so short, it could get lost in the air as it floats up to God like the feather it is. Knocking and knocking, and finally falling back to earth as rain. As ice pellets melting on a black branch, collecting in drains, leaching into the earth, and you walk in that weather every day.
Rebecca, the name of the poet again?
Ellery Akers.
Thank you, thank you. Here's a little one on words from David White. The poem is entitled Loaves and Fishes. David White says, this is not the age of information. This is not the age of information. Forget the news, the radio, the blurred screen. This is the time of loaves and fishes. People are hungry, and one good word is bread for 1,000.
Christopher Fry says, the human heart can go the lengths of God. Cold and dark we may be, But this is no winter now. The frozen misery of centuries breaks, cracks, begins to move. The thunder is the thunder of the flows, the thaw, the upstart spring. Thank God our time is now, when wrong comes up to face us everywhere, never to leave us until we take the longest stride of soul men ever took. Affairs now are soul-sized. It takes so many thousand years to wake. But will you wake for pity's sake?
This is one by Rilke. God speaks to each of us as he makes us and walks with us silently out into the night. These are the words we dimly hear. You sent out beyond the limits of your recall. Embody me. Flare up like flames. Make big shadows I can move in. Let everything happen to you, beauty and terror. Just keep moving. No feeling is final. Don't let yourself lose me. Nearby is the country they call life. You will know it by its seriousness. Give me your hand.
I want to go back to the awaken subject that Larry brought. This is a Marie Howe poem. She says, do you sometimes want to awaken to the singularity we once were? So compact, nobody needed a bed or food or money. Nobody hiding in the school bathroom or home alone, pulling open the drawer where the pills are kept. For every atom belonging to me, as good belongs to you. Remember? There was no nature, no them, no test to determine if the elephant grieves her calf or if the coral reef feels pain. Trashed oceans don't speak English or Farsi or French. Would that we could wake up to what we once were when we were ocean. And before that, to when sky was earth and animal was energy and stone was liquid and stars were space and space was not at all. Nothing. Before we came to believe that humans were so important. Before this awful loneliness. Can molecules recall it? What once was before anything happened? No I, no we, no one, no was, no verb, no noun. Only a tiny, tiny dot brimming with is. All, everything, home.
Rumi says, has anyone seen the boy who used to come here? Round-faced troublemaker, quick to find a joke, slow to be serious. Red shirt, perfect coordination, sly with strong muscles, and something always in his back pocket, a reed flute or a ivory pick, polished and ready for his talents. You know that one. Have you heard stories about him? Pharaoh and the whole Egyptian world collapsed for such a Joseph. I'd gladly spend years getting word of him, even third or fourth hand.
I'd like to go back to Kay's poem, and this is Charles Simic, and he says, the poem is entitled Stone. Charles Simic says, go inside a stone. That would be my way. Let someone else gnash with a tiger's tooth. I'm happy to be a stone. From the outside, the stone is a riddle. No one knows how to answer it. Though inside, it must be cool and quiet. Even though a cow steps on it full weight, even though a child throws it in the river, the stone sinks slow to the river bottom, unperturbed, where the fishes come to knock on it and listen. I've seen sparks fly out when two stones are rubbed. So perhaps it's not dark inside after all. Perhaps there is a moon shining from somewhere, as though behind a hill, just enough light to make out the strange writings, the star charts on the inner walls. Charles Simic.
Here's an Ellen Bass from her new book, Indigo, which is excellent, by the way. She says, break me like bread. Take me apart. Take each strip, each rib down to light. Pour me out like a bucket of milk, sloshing hot from the teats of a goat. Shear my hair and toss it onto the back of the wind for the birds to weave. As the egret pecks at the elephant's hide, as the plover scrapes the crocodile's teeth, pick me clean. Whisper to my lonely breasts, tell them a story. You are going to die. But don't let me go until my body is a wilderness. You be the whale, I the krill. Open your jaw and swim through my shoal. Empty me like a cargo ship. Hoist cases of whiskey and all the flaming threads of saffron. Don't be patient. Plunge your hand through my flesh and pull out the nest of hair and teeth. Give me 18 sinuous arms like Avalokiteshvara, so I can hold you through every terror. Give me infinite legs like the nude descending, so I can be always rushing toward you.
Here's a poem by Louise Erdrich. Life will break you. No one can protect you from that. And living alone won't either, for solitude will also break you with its longing. You have to love. You have to feel. It's the reason you are here on earth. You are here to risk your heart, to be broken open. And when it happens that you are broken or betrayed or left or lost or death brushes near? Let yourself sit by an apple tree and listen to the apples falling all around you in heaps, wasting their sweetness. Tell yourself you tasted as many as you could.
Greg Kimura says, sit with the pain in your heart, he said. Hold it there like a sacred wine in a golden cup. The wine may break you, and if it does, let it. To be human is to be broken, and only from brokenness can one be healed. The ancestors say this world is full of pain, and each is allotted a portion. And if you do not carry your share, then others are forced to carry it for you. And then the suffering you bring to the world will be your sin, but the suffering you bring to yourself will be your hell. Sit with the pain in your heart, he said. Hold it there like a sacred wine in a golden cup.
This is Rilke. It is possible I am pushing through solid rock. In flint-like layers, like the ore lies alone. I'm so far in, I see no way through and no space. Everything around me is dark. I have not much knowledge of grief yet, so this massive darkness makes me small. You be the master. Make yourself fierce. Break in. Then your great transforming will happen to me, and my great grief cry will happen to you.
Erica Jong. Erica Jong says, is life the uncurable disease? Is life the uncurable disease? The baby is born howling and we laugh. The dead man smiles and we weep, resisting the turning, always resisting the turning that turns life into eternity. Blake sang Alleluias on his deathbed, and my grandmother, hardly a poet at all, smiled as she had never smiled before. So perhaps the dress of flesh is not more than a familiar garment that grows looser as we diet on death. Perhaps we discard it or give it to the poor in spirit who haven't discovered what joy it is to go naked.
Mary Oliver says, when death comes like a hungry bear in autumn, when death comes like an iceberg between the shoulder blades, when death comes like the measles pox, when death comes and stakes all the bright coins from his purse to buy me and then snaps the purse shut, I want to step through that doorway full of curiosity, wondering, what will it be like, that cottage of darkness? And therefore I look upon all things as a brotherhood and a sisterhood. And I think of time as no more than an idea. And I consider eternity another possibility. And I think of each life like a flower, as common as a field daisy, and as singular. And each name a comfortable music in the mouth, tending as all music does towards silence. And I see each body as a lion of courage and something precious to the earth. When it's over, I want to say, all my life, I was a bride, married to amazement. I was a bridegroom taking the world into my arms. When it's over, I don't want to wonder if I've made of my life something particular and real. I don't want to find myself sighing and frightened or full of arguments. I don't want to end up simply having visited this world.
This is by Albert Hofstadter, called The Cure. He says, we think we get over things. We don't get over things. Or say we get over the measles, but not a broken heart. We need to make that distinction. The things that become part of our experience never become less a part of our experience. How can I say it? To get over a life is to die. Short of that, you move with it. Let the pain be pain, not in the hope that it will vanish, but in the faith that it will fit in, find its place in the way of things. Because everything natural has an intrinsic shape and will flow towards it. And a life is as natural as a leaf. That's what we're looking for. Not the end of a thing, but the shape of it. Wisdom is seeing the shape of your life without obliterating or getting over a single instant.
Rumi says, I've broken through to longing now, filled with the grief I have felt before, but never like this. The center leads to love. Soul breaks open creation's core. Attend to your particular pain. That too can take you to God.
Maya, would you repeat that, please?
Sure. I've broken through to longing now, filled with the grief I have felt before, but never like this. The center leads to love. Soul breaks open creation's core. Attend to your particular grief. I'm sorry, it's attend to your particular pain. That too will take you to God.
Nobody told me it would lead to this, says David White. Nobody told me there would be secrets I would not want to know. Nobody told me about seeing. Seeing brought me loss and a darkness I could not hold. Nobody told me about writing or speaking. Speaking and writing poetry, I unsheathed the sharp edge of experience that brought me here. Nobody told me it could not be put away. I was told once in a whisper, the blade is so sharp, it cuts together, not apart. This is no comfort. My future is full of blood from being blindfolded, hands outstretched, feeling my way along its firm edge. David White.
Jennifer Wellwood. This is a poem titled The Dakini Speaks. My friends, let's grow up. Let's stop pretending we don't know the deal here. Or if we truly haven't noticed, let's wake up and notice. Look, everything that can be lost will be lost. It's simple. How could we have missed it for so long? Everything that can be lost will be lost. Hang on one sec. I've lost my memory here. I need a prompt. Let's grieve our losses fully, like human, ripe beings. But please, let's not be so shocked by them. Let's not act so betrayed as though life had broken her secret promise to us. Life's only promise to us is impermanence, and she keeps it with ruthless impeccability. To a child, she seems cruel, but she is only wild. And her compassion exquisitely precise, brilliantly penetrating, luminous with truth. She strips away the unreal to show us the real. This is the true ride. Let's give ourselves to it. Let's stop making deals for a safe passage. There isn't one anyway, and the cost is too high. We are not children anymore. The true human adult gives everything for what cannot be lost. Let's dance the wild dance of no hope.
Well, it is Rumi's Caravan. And Rumi says, all day I think about it, and at night I say it. Where did I come from? And what am I supposed to be doing? I have no idea. My soul is from elsewhere, I'm certain of that, and I intend to get back there. But this spiritual drunkenness began in some other tavern. When I get back around to that place, I'll be completely sober. But meanwhile, I'm like a bird from another continent sitting in this aviary. The day is coming when I fly off. But who is it now in my ear? Who says words with my mouth? Who looks out with my eyes? What is the soul? I cannot stop asking. If I could taste one sip of an answer, I'd break out of this prison for drunkards. I didn't come here of my own accord, and I won't leave that way. Let whoever brought me here take me back. Rumi says, this poetry, when I'm outside the saying of it, I grow very quiet and hardly speak at all.
Another Rumi. Oh, pilgrim, where have you been? Where are you now? While you have been searching the earth, the beloved has been here all along, waiting for you. Let the caravan bring you home to your heart's true desire. The treasure you sought is buried in your own garden. Behold the face in the mirror. Look behind the eyes and see the one who has always held you. You are seen, you are known, and you are loved. If your seeking has brought you here at last, you know that there is nowhere else to go and nothing more to say.
Another Rumi, bird wings. The grief for what you've lost lifts up a mirror to where you're so bravely working. Here at last is the joyful face you've been wanting to see. Your hand opens and closes, opens and closes. If it were always stretched open, or in a fist, you would be paralyzed. Your deepest presence is in every small contraction and expansion, the two as beautifully balanced and coordinated as bird wings.
This is by Morton Marcus. I heard the man before I saw him. He was kneeling in an alley off Broadway and 45th Street one summer night, rocking back and forth, muttering, "Forgive me, forgive me." At first, I thought it was a dog he was bending over, but no, his grief was too strong. It must be a child. I hurried to help. There was no dog, no child. The man was bending over his shadow, pleading with it, "Forgive me, forgive me."
This is William Blake. What is the price of experience? Do men buy it for a song, or wisdom for a dance in the street? No. Wisdom is sold in the desolate market where none come to buy, and in the withered field where the farmer plows for bread in vain. It is an easy thing to triumph in the summer sun and in the vintage, and to sing on the wagon loaded with corn. It is an easy thing to talk of patience to the afflicted, to speak the laws of prudence to the homeless wanderer, to hear the sounds of love. It is an easy thing to laugh at wrathful elements, to hear the hungry dog howl at winter's door, the ox in the slaughterhouse moan, to hear the sounds of love in the storm that destroys our enemy's house, and the blight that covers his field, and the sickness that cuts off his children, while our children laugh and sing and bring flowers round our door. Then the groan and the dolor are quite forgotten, and the slave grinding at the mill, and the poor in prison, and the captive in chains, and the soldier in the field where the shattered bone has laid him groaning among the happier dead. It is an easy thing to rejoice in the tents of prosperity. Thus could I sing and thus rejoice, but it is not so for me.
The singing. Oh, the singing. There was always so much singing then. And that was my pleasure too. Oh, we all sang. The boys in the fields, the chapels were full of singing. Now here I stand. I've had pleasures enough. I have had singing. I have had singing. Thomas Mitchell, an English horseman, maybe he was 80 when he said those words.
This is a poem from a new collection called The First Free Women, and they're Buddhist poems of the first nuns. This is by Uttama, the Great Mother. She says, "For years I couldn't sleep. Nothing helped. Most nights I'd throw off the covers and go for long runs through the dark. My sisters and brothers, when sleepless nights come to tear you into little pieces, rise to meet the day, as a tree rises to meet the axe, as a scalp bows to meet the blade, as sparks from a dying fire reach out to meet the darkness, as all our bones someday fall softly to earth. When you stand, send your roots down deep between the stones. When you walk, walk like a skeleton walking to its grave. When you lie down like a blown out candle being put back in a drawer. When you sit, sit very, very still. My brothers and sisters, sit like you are already dead. How could this world possibly give you what you are looking for when it's so busy falling apart? Just like you. Look deeply. Don't move until you see it.
This is May Sarton. When a woman feels alone, when the room is filled with demons, the Nootka tribe says the old woman will be there. She has come to me from over 3,000 miles. And what will she have to tell me, troubled by phantoms in the night? Is she really here? What is the saving word from so deep in the past? From as deep as the ancient root of the redwood, from as deep as the primal bed of the ocean, from as deep as a woman's heart sprung open again through a hard birth or a hard death. Oh, here under the shock of love, I open to you, primal spirit, one with rock and wave, one with the victims of fire and flood, who have rebuilt their homes 1,000,000 times, who have lost their children and born them again. The words I hear are strength, laughter, endurance. Old woman, I meet you deep inside myself, there in the root bed of fertility, world without end, as the legends tell. Under the words, you are my silence.
Oh, yeah. I have to follow that. Gary Snyder says, old woman nature naturally has a bag of bones tucked away somewhere, a whole room full of bones, a scattering of hair and cartilage bits in the woods, a fox scat with hair and a tooth in it, a shell mound, a bone flake in a stream bank, a purring cat crunching the mouse head first, eating on down toward the tail. That sweet old woman calmly gathering firewood in the moon. Don't be shocked. She's heating you some soup.
This is one by Maya Angelou
Can,
called Touched
excuse
by
me, Rebecca,
Oh. Mhm.
we're coming very close to the end of our time together. So I want to suggest that we each do one final poem.
Okay.
I'll go. This is called Proclamation. Proclamation, it's by Kim Stafford, William Stafford's son. He says, whereas the nations are filled with shouting, whereas the world is a house on fire, whereas hope seems small, sometimes a single bird on a wire left by migration behind, whereas kindness is seldom in the news, while war is real in peace and abstraction, whereas words are all I have, whereas my life is short, whereas I am afraid, whereas I am free, despite all fire and anger and fear. Therefore, let it be resolved. A song shall be my calling. A song not yet made shall be vocation. And peaceful words, the work of my remaining days.
Okay. This is a poem by Claire Dubois. inside you, in the places where whispers carry memories, where you hold your breath, turn away, believe yourself less, there is a truth as gentle as a melody, as limitless as the sky, as honest as a mountain lake. No push, no need to try. A truth that shimmers with the light of you, the bright of you, the irrepressible delight of you, the break me wide open flight of you, the I will not go silently into the night of you, the take my breath away sight of you. And when it happens that you accept all of you, embrace the day and night of you, I want to tell you I am in awe of you, all of you, every microscopic, wild, orgasmic inch of you, every wild, unfettered gesture of alive of you. Thank you. Thank you for you.
This is the David White poem. I woke this morning in the gold light, turning this way and that, thinking for a moment it was a day like any other day. But the veil had gone from my darkened heart, and I thought, it must have been the quiet candlelight that filled my room last night. It must have been the first easy rhythm with which I breathed myself to sleep. It must have been the prayer I said, speaking to the otherness of the night. And I thought, this could be the day you meet your love. This could be the bad day when someone close to you dies. This could be the day you realize how easily the thread is broken between this world and the next. I found myself sitting up in that quiet pathway of light, the tawny, close-grained cedar burning round me like fire, and all the angels of this housely heaven ascending through the first roof of light the sun has made. Ascending through the first roof of light the sun has made. This is the bright home in which I live. This is where I ask my friends to come. This is where I want to learn to love all the things it has taken me so long to learn to love. This is the temple of my adult aloneness. And I belong to that aloneness, like I belong to my life. There is no house. There is no house like the house of belonging. David White.
It's a blessing I wrote some years ago when I was holding a turkey vulture that had been hit by a car while it died. And just that incredible weight of that being in my arms led to this prayer. It's called Blessings for the Tomb, the Womb, the Cocoon, the Liminal Space. May you surrender to the sacred gravity of your grief and loss. May this gravity carry you down into the deep well of your being. May you give honor and homage to that which has fallen away. May you integrate the wisdoms of your passage. May you feel the tender burden of your own life in your arms. May you treat yourself with exquisite kindness and patience. May you find peace in your cocoon. Surrender to the alchemy. May you be transformed by your own darkness and rise renewed.
Denise Levertov says, don't say there is no water to solace the dryness at our hearts. I have seen the fountain springing out of the rock wall and you drinking there. And I too, before your eyes, have found footholds and climbed to drink the cool water. The woman of that place, shading her eyes, frowned as she watched. But not because she grudged us the water, only that she was waiting to see that we had drunk our fill and were refreshed. So don't say there is no water. That fountain is there amid its scalloped green and gray stones. It is still there. It is always there, with its quiet song and its strange power to spring through us, out and through the rocks.
John O'Donohue says, on the day when the weight deadens on your shoulders and you stumble, may the clay dance to balance you. And when your eyes freeze behind the gray window of loss and the ghost of sorrow gets inside you, may there come a flock of colors, indigo, red, green, and azure blue to awaken in you a meadow of delight. And when the canvas frays on the hurak of thought and the stain of ocean blackens beneath you, may there come across the water a path of yellow moonlight to bring you safely home. May the nourishment of the earth be yours. May the clarity of the light be yours. May the fluency of the ocean be yours. May the protection of the ancestors be yours. And may a slow wind work these words of love around you, an invisible cloak to mind your life. So thank you all for joining us this evening, and we hope that we will be able to do this again and that our technical problems will be resolved. And let me add one final blessing for all of us. Through this challenging time, may we all stay healthy, may we stay safe, and may we stay connected. Good night, and thank you.